Hi everyone, welcome. It's Edmond here. This is a walkthrough of 2025 S1 summer series. That is May, June. I'll explain the concepts and see how we reach to the right answers. Thank you. Let us go straight to question 1. Question 1 here we have discrete random variable. The first question is the capital F of 3.5. Capital F here means it is the cumulative distribution function. So capital F of 3.5, it means that capital F of 3.5 means that we are looking for the probability that x is less than or equal to 3.5. X less than or equal to 3.5, that means x can take on values of, say, 1, 2, 3. These are the values over here. The values less than 3.5. So what we do, that means the probability for x to be less than 3.5, you're just going to add up these probabilities. Probability of 1, 0.3, probability of 2, 0.2, and probability of 3, 0.35. Therefore, your answer is 0.85. Question B, so question part A is done. Part B, what you're going to do, we are going to try to solve this inequality and put the x's on one side. So x plus 2, so move the x on the other side, and then 3 on the right hand side. So here we have 3x minus x less than 2 plus 3. So your final expression is 2x is less than 5. You divide by 2, you end up with x less than 2.5. That means this whole expression here ends up to be x less than 2.5. Therefore, so x is less than 2.5. That means x can take on values of 1 and 2. So the probability here, we have 0.3 plus 0.2, which is 0.5. That's the probability for x to be less than 2.5. All right, move on to the next part, the expectation. I'm going to erase this so that I get enough space to do the expectation. The expectation of x, so remember the expectation formula. The expectation of x is always the summation of the x value multiplied by the probability that x equals to that x value. So that means here we have x is equal to 1, and probability that x is 1 is 0.3, plus x is equal to 2, and the probability of 2 is 0.2, plus x3, the probability of x to be 3 is 0.5, and you have x as 4, and its probability is 0.15. So you put this on the calculator, and then you can have all the values. You can put in the calculator, you can pause the video, put in the calculator, and get the answer 1.05, and then you have 0.6. So your final answer here is 2.335. That is the expectation of x. The next part here, part D. Part D is asking us to find the variance of x. Now you know that the variance of x is going to be the expectation of x squared minus the expectation of x all squared. I can change the color here to work out the expectation of x. Now let us work out the expectation of x squared. Expectation of x squared is going to be you're summing up. Okay, I'll change this. Expectation of, I'm going to use this formula here. Expectation of x squared is going to be the summation of x squared multiplied by the probability that x is equal to x, the same probability that we have over there. So we have the expectation of x squared, square the x and then multiply by its probability. So you have 1 squared multiplied by its probability, 0.3, plus 2 squared multiplied by its probability, 0.2, plus 3 squared multiplied by its probability, 0.35. Then you add 4 squared multiplied by its probability, 0.15. When you press your calculator, you end up with this expectation of x squared as 6.65. Then from expectation of x squared, then we can calculate our variance. So the variance here of x will be the expectation of x squared. What the formula said here, we're just going to get this formula over here, expectation of x squared, which is 6.65 minus the expectation of x squared, which we have here, expectation of x all squared, so which is 2.35 all squared. That's going to be our variance, and when you press your calculator, to be the exact same value that you're looking for here. All right, our left section, part E, just a one marker. I will do part E over here on the top here. Part E, remember the variance formula here. The variance formula that says that the variance of ax plus b is the same as a squared multiplied by the variance of x. That means the variance of 5 minus 2x is going to be 2 squared. I'm not putting a negative because it's still going to be positive when you square it, which is going to be 4 multiplied by the variance of x, which is going to be 4 multiplied by 1.1275. And when you do that, your answer is going to be 4.51. That is your question 1. That's a discrete random variable.